The finale of Dark Winds Season 3 saw some major deaths, some major developments, and some major setup for the next season, and all of them could use some explanation. The ending of Dark Winds Season 3, Episode 7, laid bare how Drive Reynolds, Christopher Heyerdahl, related to Echo Bedo Kata's murder and how Tom Spencer, Bruce Greenwood, was hiding his drug and human trafficking ring, but the finale saw the resolution of the investigations. It also had some personal developments for the cast, such as Bernadette, Jessica Matten, and Chee's, Kiowa Gordon, relationship and Joe Leaphorn's, Zon McClarnon, connection to BJ Vine's death. In the finale of Dark Winds Season 3, everyone's cases came to a close. Bernadette managed to kill Budge DeBaca, Raul Max Trujillo, expose the drug and human trafficking ring, and arrest the dirty cops at Border Patrol. Likewise, Leaphorn and Chee managed to save George Bowlegs, Bodie O'Cumur Linton, killed Dr. Reynolds, and solved Echo Bedo Kata's murder. Leaphorn even managed to get FBI agent Sylvia Washington, Jenna Elfman, off his back. On top of it all, the finale also set up Dark Winds Season 4, and all those developments could use a closer look. Bernadette killed Budge with the feather Joe made her, deeper meaning explained. Joe was a mentor to Bernadette, and the lessons he taught her helped her save herself. After being captured by Budge, Bernadette was nearly buried alive by him. However, Bernadette looked up at the metal feather Leaphorn made for her. She then escaped the car and killed Budge with the same feather. Bernadette using the feather Joe gave her symbolizes how his mentorship gave her the tools to be a great detective and cop. Bernadette had previously mentioned how much Joe's guidance meant to her, and at that moment, the feather reminded her of all the lessons she had learned from him. She kept on fighting because she knew that's what Joe would tell her to do. Why Reynolds refused to put his gun down and why Chee shot him instead of Leaphorn. Reynolds died by suicide by cop and Leaphorn hesitated to kill him while Chee didn't. Dr. Reynolds, Christopher Heyerdahl, looking surprised with Teddy Essex in Dark Winds Season 3, Episode 2. Once Leaphorn successfully saved George Bowlegs from Dr. Reynolds, the murderous archaeologist made a surprising decision. Despite Joe's warnings, Reynolds refused to let go of his gun, and Chee ended up shooting him dead because of it. There was no way out for Reynolds besides letting go of the gun, which made that moment a bit confusing, but also explains exactly why he did it. Reynolds had nothing left, his professional career was ruined, he had killed a child and his assistant, Teddy, Carly Rowland, and he didn't want to go on living, so he died by suicide by cop. Reynolds' suicide wasn't the only surprising end to the investigation, however. Instead of Joe, Chee popped out from behind a corner and shot Reynolds himself. The reason Chee killed Reynolds instead of Joe is that Joe hesitated. Joe remembered that Gordo, a Martinez, previously told him that when you kill a man, he's bound to you, and he didn't want Reynolds to be bound to him. Chee, on the other hand, didn't hesitate, and he killed Reynolds as soon as his gun went up. Whether Reynolds is bound to Chee remains to be seen in Dark Winds Season 4. Why Bernadette didn't forgive Yvonne at the end of Dark Winds Season 3. Yvonne did the right thing, but only after hurting a lot of innocent people. Yvonne Muniz, Alex Meraz, had a bit of a redemption in Dark Winds Season 3's finale, but it wasn't enough to repair his relationship with Bernadette. Bernadette had previously discovered that Yvonne was one of the many dirty cops at Border Patrol who was taking money from Tom Spencer, but he eventually switched sides. Yvonne found Bernadette after she killed Budge and actually helped her raid Spencer Ranch, arrest Ed Henry, Terry Serpico, and Elianda, Tonant Zin Carmelo, and stop the drug and human trafficking rings. However, once the dust settled, Bernadette didn't take Yvonne back. Bernadette didn't restart her romantic relationship with Yvonne for two simple reasons: she didn't trust him, and she didn't forgive him. Yvonne may have decided to do the right thing in the end, but his complacency in Spencer's trafficking ring ended up hurting a lot of innocent people in the process. He also implicitly lied to Bernadette and wrongly earned her trust. Those factors, coupled with Bernadette's ironclad sense of right and wrong, meant she wasn't interested in Yvonne anymore. Why would she date a dirty cop who she'll never fully trust again, even if he did ultimately help her? Why Agent Washington couldn't prove Joe killed BJ Vines? Washington's investigation hinged on Joe's phony alibi, but Emma supported it. One of the bigger surprises of Dark Winds Season 3's ending came from FBI Special Agent Sylvia Washington. Washington was investigating Joe's involvement in BJ Vine's death all season long. She often seemed to be just a step away from putting him in prison. However, in the Dark Winds Season 3 finale, Washington explained that she didn't have enough evidence to prove that Joe killed Vines. With that, she simply walked away, but Dark Winds didn't fully explain why Washington couldn't prove Joe's guilt. The simple explanation is that Washington's entire investigation into Joe hinged on Emma Leaphorn, Deanna Allison, contradicting his alibi, which she didn't do. All of Washington's evidence up to that point was completely circumstantial. She had a witness who placed a police car near Vine's house, another witness who saw the model of truck Joe was driving, but nothing more, and she didn't get anything conclusive from searching the Leaphorn residence. All she had was a motive that countless other dying people shared and an alibi that seemed fishy, but was supported by a third party. How Tom Spencer avoided being arrested at the end of Dark Winds Season 3. Spencer protected himself from the trafficking ring and benefited from white man's justice. Tom Spencer, Bruce Greenwood, holds a cup of coffee in Dark Winds Season 3, Episode 3. Another big surprise of the Dark Winds Season 3 finale concerned Tom Spencer. As the final montage showed, Spencer managed to completely avoid arrest somehow, and he was in an idyllic foreign country with his sickly wife. Luckily, Spencer himself explained how he managed to walk free from his drug and human trafficking ring. As Spencer said, he was careful to cover his tracks and maintain plausible deniability, and to the police, it just looked like he was a disinterested millionaire who had no idea what his employees were up to. Spencer did cover his tracks with the trafficking rings, but he also had another proverbial ace up his sleeve. A big theme of Dark Winds has been the idea of the white man's justice, and the concept that white people, especially in the 1970s, didn't have to face the same justice non-white people do. Spencer was a rich white man with a degree of plausible deniability. Even if the police could have proved he knew about the trafficking, he was never going to get true justice. It's the same reason Joe killed BJ Vines. Rich white men almost never have to pay for their crimes.